Just under a quarter of greenhouse gas emissions in Scotland were from agriculture and related land use. Globally, food is responsible for 26% of greenhouse gas emissions on the planet. Of this, 58% arise from animal products, and of these, half come from beef and lamb. The UK Committee on Climate Change says that we need to cut meat and dairy consumption by at least 20% by 2050 and reduce food waste by 20%. Meat, and especially ruminant meats, have a 10 to 100 times greater carbon footprint than plant-based foods. Vegan diets have the lowest climate impact, but all reductions in meat and dairy deliver climate benefits. The target total emissions for an individual to meet net zero targets is 2 tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalents per year. That's the fair share of emissions globally. A heavy meat diet alone would exceed the worldwide per person emissions target to combat climate change. That's no travel, no house heating, that's just the diet. The difference between a vegan and a meat-heavy diet is 1.32 tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalents per year, and that's equivalent to 2 return flights from Edinburgh to Malaga.
To tackle the climate emergency, we have to look at what we eat, and we have to look at eating less of the most damaging products that we produce in our food system, which is primarily meat and dairy. If we don't tackle what we eat, we're unlikely to be able to solve the global problem of climate change. A recent study published just last year demonstrated that even if every other sector, even if transport, if energy, decarbonised from this year, the global food system would still take us over the limit to keep global heating below 1.5 degrees. Waiting for social norms and for markets to catch up with climate realities is not going to get us there fast enough. This graph shows meat consumption in the UK over the last few years. As you can see, even in a time when people have been thinking about reducing their meat and dairy consumption, meat consumption is still quite high or even increasing. One way of thinking about what Scottish Government can do that I wanted to share with you is guiding choice by default. For example, to require all public canteens to make the dish of the day a veggie option. Another more powerful option is to change what we eat, what we choose to eat, by changing incentives. People in Scotland eat double the protein they need, yet only half the vegetables and fibre. So how about incentivising more veg consumption by making it easier for people to buy fruit and veg, for example, by increasing the availability of fruit and veg in the market, by supporting horticultural farmers. Another step up the ladder is, as well as incentivising healthy veg consumption, also disincentivising excessive consumption of damaging products. Low meat prices are a barrier to reducing people's meat consumption. One way of helping people eat less meat is to make meat more expensive, for example through a carbon tax on high impact products.
The UK imports over half of its fruit and vegetables from overseas, and we're not even eating the recommended daily amount of 5 portions a day. At the same time, we need to look ahead in case of potential shocks to the food system, so that's big disruptions that could come from pandemics, political instability or climate change. All of these factors say that we would be wise to increase the amount of vegetables that we grow in the UK. Local food growing projects could also get us closer to the food we buy and make us less likely to waste food because we understand how hard it is to grow it in the first place.
All these are options available to Scottish Government, and without taking up one or other of these options, it's very unlikely that we'll see the kind of change in diets that we need to see over the next few years to make sure that the food system plays its part in meeting the climate emergency and meeting it in a fair way. Thank you.